We're on page 54, Destroy the Four Olds, paragraphs 54 through 74. The sight of some high school students distracted me. 2 boys and a pigtail girl were walking toward us. They were young, no more than 3 or 4 years older than me. They walked slowly through the bustling crowd, looking closely at people's pants and shoes. My sister and I stared at them with admiration. We knew they must be student inspectors. The newspapers had pointed out that the four O's were also reflected in clothing, and now high school students had taken responsibility for eliminating such dress. For example, any pants with a leg narrower than 8 inches for women or 9 inches for men would be considered four O's. A bus pulled up at the bus stop behind us. Quite a few people got on and off. As the bus pulled away, we saw a crowd gathering at the curb. Oh boy, they found a target. I took Ji Yun by the hand and dashed over. Tight pants and pointed shoes are what the Western bourgeoisie admire. For us proletarians, they are neither good-looking nor comfortable. What's more, they are detrimental to the revolution. So we must oppose them resolutely. One of the boys, the one who was wearing glasses, was just finishing his speech. The guilty person was a very handsome man in his early 30s. He wore dark-framed glasses, a cream-colored jacket with the zipper half open, and a pair of sharply creased light brown pants. He had also been wearing fashionable two-tone shoes, champagne shoes we call them, of cream and light brown leather. They were lying on the ground next to him as he stood with one foot on the ground and the other resting in the lap of the student measuring his pants. The man kept arching his foot as if the pebbles on the sidewalk hurt him. He looked nervous standing there in white socks while the inspector surrounded him, holding his hands submissively along his trouser seams. Occasionally, he raised his hands a little to balance himself. His handsome face blushed scarlet, then turned pale. A few times he bit his lips. One of the boys was trying to squeeze an empty beer bottle up the man's trouser leg. This was a newly invented measurement. If the bottle could not be stuffed into the trouser leg, the pants were considered four O's and treated with revolutionary operations, which means cut open. We're now at the top of page 55, paragraph 60. The boy tried twice. The girl waved her scissors with unconcealed delight. Look, another pair of too-tight pants. Now let's get rid of the four O's. She raised the scissors and deftly cut the pants leg open. Then, with both hands, she tore the pants to the knees so the man's pale calf was exposed. The crowd stirred. Some people pushed forward to have a closer look. Some nervously left the circle when they saw the scissors used, and some glanced at their own pants. As the girl started on the other leg of the trousers, the boy with the glasses picked up the man's shoes and waved them to the crowd. Pointed toes, pointed shoes, four O's, he shouted. But I bought them in the number 1 department store here. It's run by the government. How can they be four O's? The man cried out in despair. What makes you think the government-owned stores are free of four O's? That statement itself is four O's. Didn't you see all the shop signs that were knocked down? Most of those stores belong to the government. With a snort, the boy dropped the man's foot and stood up. The man lost his balance and nearly fell over. The crowd gave a burst of appreciative laughter. Encouraged, the 3 students enthusiastically began cutting open the shoes. All eyes were focused on them. No one paid any attention to their owner. I looked at the man. He stood on the sidewalk, awkward and humiliated, trouser legs flapping around his ankles, socks falling down. A tuft of hair hung over his forehead. He looked at his pants, pushed up his glasses nervously, and quickly glanced around. Our eyes met. Immediately he turned away. The students cheered and triumphantly threw the mutilated shoes into the air. The man quivered. Suddenly he turned around and began to walk away. Wait! One boy picked up the shoes and threw them at the man. Take your four O's with you. Go home and thoroughly remold your ideology. The man took his broken shoes in hand and made his way out of the crowd, his cut pants flapping. Someone chortled, "He'll have holes in his socks when he gets home." Top of page 56. We're on paragraph 72. I watched the spectators disperse. The students strutted proudly down the street. Ji-yun tugged on my arm. "Come on, it's over." I took her hand, and we headed home in silence. "That poor guy," I finally said. "He should know better than to dress that way, but I'd just die if somebody cut my pants open in front of everybody like that." This is the end of page 56.